Hello, everyone. My name is Deepak, and I am with Tax Code Advisors. We help small businesses and individuals with saving, growing, and protecting their wealth. So, if there is any tax problem, you're welcome to reach out to me, and we'll see what we can do to help you. But today, I don't want to talk to you about a tax problem. I want to talk to you about a money problem. Recently, I met with a client who had purchased a particular program for almost $10,000 to learn how to invest in real estate. And he came in for his tax returns, and as I asked him some questions about this expense, he says, yeah, that's the I use it to learn about real estate. I was surprised he had not really purchased any property this year at all. So I was curious as to why he thought he needed to spend that kind of money on a course. And he goes like, well, this course was actually a bundle of things. I got an invitation to a, and I was able to network with people. I was able to talk to other people who are investing in real estate, and they teach me how to do this and that. So, make the long story short, he was convinced that it was a good investment into his future, just like with any other education. People made claims to him that, if you go to college and get your bachelor's degree or your master's degree, you're going to spend X amount of dollars, and most people on average make Y amount of dollars. Versus if you buy this $10,000 course, if you close one property or two properties, that could have 10x your yearly earnings, things of that nature. So he was convinced, he thought it was a good investment, and he went ahead and paid them that money and took the course. But like I said, he hasn't really benefit anything out of this course whatsoever. So I dig a little bit deeper into it and talk to even some of the other clients out there who I have seen over and over spending so much money in courses and events and stuff like that. So I thought maybe I should talk a little bit about that to kind of warn some of my other clients as to how to identify something that is worth it versus something perhaps that's not really worth it so much. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. So this is what I see. Some fields are more popular, more lucrative than the others. For example, health is where I see it the most. People try to sell you yoga courses or martial art or some sort of other health benefit. And they're really, the main goal is to sell you supplements to make you smarter, more intelligent, more focused, and and obviously teach you techniques how to improve yourself, which is all good, but they all want to get paid all up front, and normally it's a big dollar amount. 50 bucks, maybe even 100 bucks, I'm comfortable with. But when people are starting to ask you for thousands of dollars and they're pretending to be your friend, and they're promising you this whole world that you're able to achieve, like for example, they will make statements like, what, you can do anything, you're capable of anything. No, you're not capable of anything. Everybody have their own limitations. You can indeed expand onto your limitations and overcome them. But there's, for example, I just never can possibly grow my height to 10 feet, for example. Just not going to happen. So these people try to sell you this whole world and don't really um, offer anything practical. All they really want is your money, and then they will move on to the next person who is facing similar problem. Now, problem with this, oftentimes people who buy these programs, they are depressed, or they're facing some sort of problem. They're already having a difficult time even financially, and they are the one who are getting recruited into these kind of things. So that sucks. Another one I see is in the finance industry. I'm in finance industry. I also do events, but I don't sell my tickets for $10,000. Now, some of you guys might say, well, Deepak, wait a minute. Well, you don't sell it because nobody buys your $10,000. um, Maybe because I never really tried it, so I don't know if somebody will buy it or not. So that's besides the point. My point is that I would not spend $10,000 because I'm feeling depressed, because I'm feeling, um, if somebody's enticing my greed or fear to get me to commit those kind of funds. So typically, these people will recruit you into certain group. Maybe the amount might not be 10,000. Maybe the amount might be a little bit cheaper, but that's because they don't tell you the overall cost. So they might say, "Oh, it's only $50 to join, or $100 to join, or $200 to join, or something like that." And that's just a starting point. They will never disclose you how much you're going to spend over time. And then they will make it even more confusing because they'll say, well, it's each individual person is unique. You get to make your own decisions, how fast you want to go. So if you go faster, obviously you spend more. If you go slower, you spend less. Um, those kind of things. So that's a second one I typically see. Another one I see quite a bit is in franchise industry. So many people come to me because they are setting up a franchise, but many of them do actually fail. If people think when they're buying franchises, they are 100% secured and the business is proven and all that kind of good stuff. That's not always true. Some of them are great franchises, but many times they're not. Another one I see is with funds. People are raising some sort of fund. They want you to give them your money and they are going to invest it wisely for you. And being part of the fund, they train you, coach you, all that kind of garbage out there. But not really. They just want your funds. That's it. And then they're going to do whatever they're going to do. And once again, some funds are great. Some people have a lot of ethics and they focus on delivering results and they hold themselves responsible. Many people don't. So I see a lot of people who get burned. Unfortunately, in people like me who are in business of consulting, who are advising people how to do the right thing, people often come to us after making big mistakes, after losing a lot of money to somebody, and now they want to know how to get out of it. Usually a little bit too late, but that's how we get to hear these stories. Okay. Um, let's see. There are a few others that I have seen, but the theme is always the same. They're going to make a topic. They're going to charge you a lot of funds, a lot of money, and then they will try to train you, coach you, and then show you the dream that how you can build a successful future for yourself. People don't waste money just on these tickets. People waste their time. They spend a lot of time. For example, one of the common thing is learning is always great. You should always be learning. If you learn a lot, if you let's say you spend 24 hours on YouTube or some other course program that you have purchased with real dollars and you learn a lot, is that information really going to make you smart? Many of you guys watching are probably spend maybe 40, 50, 100, $200,000 on your graduation. How much of that stuff do you really remember? How much of that stuff you really use in your college today? So look, knowledge does not help. Knowing a lot of things, in even if you're really good at it, can perhaps convert you into a dictionary, but it's not going to make you smart. You get smart because you learn certain things that are practical, that are useful, that generate results for other people. For example, I'm in tax business. If I remember every single line of tax code, that's not going to help me earn any new dollar. What helps me earn money is when I learn strategies, when I learn from my mistakes, my clients' mistakes, and I stop somebody else from making the same mistakes. When I share information that becomes extremely valuable to somebody, those are the kind of things that adds value. So if somebody shows you, look, I have a 100,000 page of material on how to build wealth, it's you don't need 100,000 pages of material. You need one page of material, and you just need to get really good at it. So anyhow, what people do is they spend a lot of time in these kind of courses and these kind of events, and then on top of that, there's always a travel involved. Not always, I guess. Sometimes they do remotely, but if they want, like, let's say if I want you to buy $10,000 worth of product, maybe I'll throw in a free event. You come to an event, and then I will offer you something. Then you come to that event, then I offer you nothing. They always have this ladder system going on. So be watch out for that. I always ask them, hey, if I come to your event, would you ask me to buy something else? Would you be making another offer? Ask them upfront, and more than likely they will say yes. And that's your clue that this is where this is going. And it doesn't stop there. It continues to go up from there. Another problem I have with these kind of events is that these people want to sound really good, really educated, really somebody who has spent a lot of time. They have had a lot of strategies and so forth. But they can't do that if they need to talk to every single person. They can only talk to if they talk to people who have a very specific problem, or they kind of generalize things. So, for example, you know, savings is going to kill your retirement. You need to invest. You know, it's a generally true statement, but not necessarily true statement. I can give you examples of many people in my life who have became who secured their retirement purely out of savings. Or give you another one. This is a common one I hear when people spend money in these kind of courses and events. Is um, you can only make wealth if you start a business. Again, not true. I actually I know a lot of people who built great amount of wealth just out of working for somebody else. You know, people, I mean, look at California, for example. What do you think? All of those people made a lot of money because they were wealthy. Most of them are immigrants coming from a different country. You know, they go to school, they learn certain skills, and they go work for companies that are changing our world. So no, you know, they are very generic. Another thing I see is that it's very hard to ask somebody to give you a lot of money over a webinar or over an online meeting. So they have this goal to make you to come to a particular event. And that's where they make the main pitch. And the reason behind that is when you are at somebody else controlled environment, that person has set up everything: the lighting, the sound, the story, smell, people. Imagine you go to an event, let's say there's 1,000 people there. All I have to do is hire 50 salespeople in that event, and those 50 salespeople pretend to be attendees. And then they go tell you stories about all the great things that happened to them because they came to that event. And these people are networking, they are starting to build up this case before the event even starts, and they're telling you all these stories. By the time event start, you kind of have already sold. It's a great event. I'm just telling you how these pitches are happening in the market. So my problem is that these things are happening in their controlled environment. I think if you were to listen to their pitch in your environment, you will make a better decision versus if you listen to that pitch in their environment. So watch out for that. You can learn a lot from books. That's where I like to start all my research. And if I think I need an expertise in that, then maybe I'll start digging a little bit deeper into it. But oftentimes, books is my perfect way to learn. Another way to learn is by setting some time aside for yourself. We all are busy. We, spend a lot of time on doing our day-to-day activities, and why I got to do consultations, I got to talk to clients, and so forth. So, do I really have time to spend on myself? So, if you put some time aside, hopefully you can do at least a day, maybe a weekend. That would be nice. Another thing is get out of your own environment. So, for example, if you are always studying in your home, maybe you can rent out an Airbnb for to yourself and spend a few hours there, maybe in a hotel or somewhere else where you can be in a different environment and focus on your self development. I think you will get a lot more out of reading books and spending time on yourself than giving your hard-earned dollars to these people and going out there and hoping that these people would change your life around. Okay, and then these people who are giving you these great reviews and they're telling you all those stories, be extremely very cautious of them. How can you justify if they are not getting paid something from the company, if they and some of them will be legit, by the way. So let's say if you meet a couple of people who are, and what happens is if you meet 50 fakers and two real people who maybe did got some benefit out of it, then you will think like it's really true. But that was just two out of thousands of people. So just be aware of that. So anyhow, that's what I want to talk to you guys about today, and explain to you that how people are losing tens of thousands of dollars in these courses, in these events. without giving it a second thought. And there's a tons of fraud going on. Um, there was one, for example, recently I went to, and where the gentleman was saying that I'm going to teach you how to make 3% a day. So there was another one that was talking about, I'm going to help you buy real estate with no money at all. So I have seen all of these kind of things, and I'm always curious as to what kind of things are going on, so I can tell my clients what to watch out for. So be very careful. This is a big one right now. What's happening out in market? Syndicates and crowdfunding. I think we need way more regulations on these two fields. They're growing like crazy. I'm seeing people losing money into these things again and again, and they just don't understand. People just don't understand what syndicate is, what funds are. I have another video if you want to learn about them, but they're extremely risky. They're private equity. You have no control, which is fine. You might be saying, well, Deepak, if I buy an Apple stock, I don't have control either. True, but Apple is regulated and they need to disclose a lot of information to you, if it's relevant to you. Private equities don't. Private equities disclose whatever they want to disclose. They are not under those regulations to tell you everything. So be extremely cautious. I think there's a way to build wealth in this country in without taking too much risk. There are plenty of opportunities out there. You have plenty of tax strategies that you can use, plenty of saving strategies that you can use, plenty of income strategies that you can do. You can always buy a business. You can always buy your own properties. You can always learn and grow yourself. So please stop wasting money into these kind of places. And if you have to, the one last tip I'll leave you with is that always ask them to provide you with, if what percentage of their people who have ever invested with them have recovered their investment. I'm not even asking about making money, recovered their investment. Ask them if these people are putting their own money online for you. If, let's say, if something goes wrong, would they be held personally responsible for refunding your money? Most of the time, they would say no. If there's anything I can do to help you in answering some of your tax related questions, if you want to learn about whether you're making a right real estate deal, if you can reduce your debt, if you can um, figure out how to grow your business faster, maybe there's some mistakes that you're doing in there, reach out to me. Just go to taxcodeadvisors.com and set up a consultation appointment, and let's talk.